striking, moving. Hi Try brothers, and welcome to this new video in which I will try to present to you some new knowledge regarding the blade combat. But before I enter more deep in this subject, I want to underline or to try to answer to a very important question. What are the elements that makes a system to be efficient in a real life or dead situation? And here we must first try to analyze or to remind ourselves, because I will already say to you in some of my past videos, what is happening with your body, what are the physiological changes that are happening in your body when you are in this flight, fight or freeze response. So heartbeats are increasing, respiration is increasing. Very important aspect, fine motor skills are not operating at the same level. Your palms are sweating, it's appearing tunnel vision, the blood is redirected to big groups of muscle, your brain cannot make any more very complex activities. So all this and other kind of changes, so all this will influence your response in a real life or death situation. So by taking this first aspect, we will also understand that, for example, if the fine motor skills will not operate, imagine like the finger, imagine somebody that is using his fingers, activities that you use your fingers a lot, like for example, I don't know, pianos playing, guitar playing, activities that is requiring these fine motor skills and using of the fingers and precision in the movements. When I understand that in a real situation the fine motor skills will not operate at the same level, then also I will understand that having with me a folding knife that is requiring some fine motor skills to take it from my pocket if I carry it in my pocket, and also some fine motor skills to open it, it will not be the right choice for a real situation. Especially if I have a non-automatical folding knife, for example. Yeah? If I have a spring knife, maybe it's not so much difference but the opening, but when I have a non-automatical one, or when I need different kind of fine motor skills to open it, then I must understand from the beginning that is not the best option of carry and also the best option of weapon. Also, understanding, for example, that in that moment my body will sweat a lot, and having, for example, a blade that doesn't give me the correct and the best grip that I need when I will be in a real situation, and for example it has a grip that very easy can slide from my hand, means that also put it the idea of some other factors like sweat or like blood or I don't know, meteorological factors, it's raining or it's snowing, the knife can slide very easy from my hand. Especially because also combined with that fine motor skills that they are not operating at the same level, my movements will not be so precise as when I repeat in a relaxed mode in my gym, in my room, I don't know, where you are training. So very important aspect to understand, because you can find some elements only analyzing what is happening in that moment. When we talk about blade combat, everything has his influence on my ability to be able to survive in a real situation. From the weapon that I choose, that it's also very important, to the way in which I choose to carry it, in which position, to the drills that I'm operating and programming my brain to learn and to be able to have a response in that moment. All the things are influenced. The clothes that I'm wearing, all are influencing your ability to have the best response in a real situation. So many are choosing a knife, for example, because it's looking good. Wow, it's a so beautiful knife, this I want and this I will carry. But if you are having a knife because, I don't know, you want to use it in some daily activities like, I don't know, cutting opening boxes, or I don't know, from some type of utilitarian means, then it's okay. But if you choose to have a blade for using to combat applications, then everything is important. It's not only that it's looking good, how big it is, it's easy to conceal, it is easy to grip, it's sliding from my hand, I can deploy it fast, what kind of sheet it has, how it's the mechanism that is coming to attach to my belt, for example, or to my pocket if I choose in the pocket, depends on the position that you want to choose to carry it. So all these must be tested. It's not enough I take this knife and this it will be. Even if I will have, for example, a trainer, the trainer in the majority of the cases is only imitating the form of the blade, but not all the characteristics, for example, like grip and everything, because they will not use the same materials. But they are also, for, of course, there will be also, you will find some knives that the trainer, it will be similar to the real blade. So it's very important that you test all this under all the these stress and pressure factors in such a way that you will know for sure that that blade can be good. Of course, there can be situations in which you are in a non-permissive environment and you cannot carry that blade with you, and you must adapt, improvise, check for other I don't know, tools around you and elements that you can combine or modify to create a weapon that can be efficient and have some characteristics like the blade, to penetrate, to slash, or to impact, to be an impact weapon, I don't know, depending on what you find. But that is another discussion. I'm talking about that blade that you decide that day by day you carry with you for protection, for combat. So all the aspects must be identified and try to find what are the pros and the cons for that particular weapon, so you know if it is the best weapon of choice for you. So we continue with the same question: what are the elements that are making a system to be efficient in a life or death situation? And after we were identifying in some physiological changes that they are happening in our body in the flight, fight, or freeze response, we pass much further to a very important test. The test that is showing you if a technique can have some chances to be applied in a real situation is that the technique must be applied under stress factors, pressure factors, and resistance from your training partners. So if it's not passing this test, for sure the technique is not worth it to implement it in your training, because the only thing that you do, you program wrong your brain. So as an example, let's say you are in your training place, you have some partners, you make a scenario in which you don't know the individual that is around to apply the technique. He don't know which of the aggressor will attack. You don't know how they will attack. They can grab him, they can be two aggressors, grab him, they can, I don't know, be with weapons, or you can improvise here different kind of scenarios. And other stress factors that you can implement, you start by making a lot of physical effort, running, push-ups, pull-ups, until your heartbeats are increased, your respiration is increasing, your muscles are shaking because of the physical effort, and this is simulating already close to what is happening in a real situation when these changes will happen in your body, yeah, because of this fight, flight, or freeze response. So after you are very, very tired and you cannot focus anymore because of that powerful physical effort that you were making, then it's starting the initial scenario in which the aggressors will put pressure, they will have resistance, you will not know how they will attack, and you must apply your technique. It can be only a deployment of a knife and a strike, but that deployment of the knife and that drill that you want to make, if cannot be done under these conditions, you already must exclude it from your drills, because if in a safe environment with some safe partners that they don't want to take your life, and in a situation in which your brain already knows that it will not happen nothing bad to you there in that scenario, and the technique is not going in that situation, imagine that in a real situation when you have some criminal mind aggressors that wants to slash your throat or penetrate your body and tissues, stab you with their knives, for sure what you are doing, it will not work for sure there. So this is one of the most important tests for a drill. And even after passing this, you don't have the guarantee that in a real situation it will function the same, because in a real situation everything is changing. All the scenarios that you work for are only helping to program the brain to have a response when when the adrenaline is rushing in your body. But you don't have the guarantee that also will save your life. It can be and it cannot be, because here we have a lot of elements that can influence that survival percentage. Yeah, for example, it can be from the clothes that you wear. If all the time you're training in your gym in short pants and in a sport wear, and tomorrow you will be, I don't know, in a blue jeans and in a big jacket because it's cold outside, and you train in the warm in the gym, and outside is cold and already your fingers are not anymore, the fine motor skills are already not operating at the same level, and also the way in which you train to deploy your weapon, now you have a big jacket that you didn't think at it and it's closed, and it will be more hard to deploy your weapon. So all these aspects will influence that day in which it can happen you to be in this dead or life or death situation. From how much hours you were sleeping, for what you were eating, if you were drinking, maybe one day before you were drinking a lot of alcohol, you were not sleeping, all this will influence your response in that moment. So it's not existing the perfect the perfect formula for surviving to this situation. We only train ourselves and we try to cover as many aspects that we have in such a way that our brain will be ready to have a response in that moment. So until now we were seeing that identifying different kind of changes, physiological changes that they are happening in this fight, flight or freeze response can help us identify the right techniques and also identify the right tools that we need, identify the right concealed carry that we must implement in our daily life. Also, seeing that complex things are not working in a real situation, we will be able to identify that techniques that they are simple. When we talk about efficiency, we must put the drill, the technique that we want to learn, under stress factors, under pressure, under resistance from our training partners. If it's not passing this test, of course, in a real situation, for sure will not work. So based on the elements that I was telling you earlier, I want today to share with you two main drills, two main concepts that you can implement in your training, and they are very important. When you will be in a real situation, the percentage that you will be in a fighting stance or fighting stage of mind are very, very low. In the majority of time, you will be in a relaxed mode. Even if you are working with your child, with your family, eating an ice cream, going with the bus, staying at the, I don't know, at the stopping lights, thinking at your work, or I don't know what kind of activities, you will not be in a fighting state of mind. Even if you are scanning, even if you are aware of your environment and you try to identify potential threats, in that moment you are not in a fighting stance. So when it will happen, it will be also a switch. That switch that is bringing you from the relaxed mode to the fighting mode, fight, flight, or freeze mode. So that moment is the most important thing, and you can train that. How you can train it? You see in the majority of the operators and persons that they are practicing, for example, with the fire weapons, because it's an exercise this that can be implemented also in the training with the fire weapons, but also in the training with the blades and so on. They are in front of the target, they are standing in a normal position, and suddenly the timer is beeping. They are taking the gun out, shooting. The same is happening also, for example, in different schools when they have different kind of drills regarding hand-to-hand combat and scenarios when the others they are attacking. And it's a good concept. This is involving a little bit of stress, but it's not so close to what it will happen in reality. So for the last 4 years, I was trying to develop a better system that already I was teaching in some seminars to some of my students, and I will share with you now. So one of it is implementing this NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, visualizations in such a way that before we make a drill, we relax ourselves. We enter in this deep relaxation stage. And I give you an example. If I have my blade, and let's say I have a scenario in which I have 3 partners. I am in the gym. I don't know who it will attack. They are talking between them. They are choosing the aggressor, or the aggressors can be more. And I am sitting, for example, on the chair. Why on the chair? Because it can happen in the majority of the situation that you will be on the chair. You are at the restaurant. You are in different kind of environments, and you are not all the time standing up. So maybe you are sitting on the chair. So standing on the chair, I close my eyes and I begin to visualize, breathe deeply. It's nothing esoteric, it's nothing mystical. It's based on neuro-linguistic programming, it's based on science. So I induce to my body, to myself, a stage of deep relaxation, breathing and visualizing myself, for example, being at the table with my family, eating at the restaurant, making there everything, imagining everything, what I eat, what I hear, what is around, relaxing, laughing, and all this stuff. Breathing, inducing this state, and then suddenly a partner or somebody else is making a sudden noise, contact, or I don't know, beeper, or doesn't matter what, that will make this switch for this deep concentration. You must go up from your chair, taking the knife out, and maybe one of the other partners that is playing the aggressor will attack you, also performing his techniques or putting resistance. So that kind of training in which I am in a deep relaxation stage of mind, and suddenly I must switch to a fighting position and making my drill, that is what can bring you more close to the real deal. Because in real situation like this will happen. You will be on your telephone, you're talking with somebody, you're with your kids, I don't know what, and suddenly it's happening this switch that is immediately twisting from the normal stage of mind, relaxing to a fighting, fight, flight, or freeze. So practicing this kind of exercise will help your brain to accustom to with this kind of switch to identify it and to be able to have that response in that moment. Of course, that this kind of drill is not the same intensity as it will happen in reality, but it's much better than only standing here and making a drill with somebody and waiting for that signal, for example, at the shooting range, that you know that is coming. Did, or you know that the aggressor from in front of you, it will attack you, the partner, that it's the aggressor in this situation. So this kind of inducing this deep relaxation technique will help you disconnect from that preparedness mode. I am prepared, I know that now I must shoot or now I must do a technique. So first you are in this deep relaxation mode, and suddenly there is changing in the fight, flight or freeze situation. And here you must not cheat yourself. It really must be the exercise done as I say. And if you are making 2 or 3 times this exercise, it's 1000 times more important than I don't know what kind of drills, because this you must accustom your brain with. You must know to make this switch, and when it's making this, to identify this switch when it's happening, also to perform your drill, to be able to deploy that knife in the game, in the fight, or I don't know what kind of other techniques you want to apply. Another drill that you can implement, and in one of my past videos a long time ago I was giving an idea about it, and but it was with knife throwing, but telling a little bit about it. I will try to remind you again, or for the ones that they don't see my video, to share this kind of drill, because also is very important. In many situations that you will be possible that you will not have empty hands. So if I have empty hands, I can deploy my blade very fast. Even if I have, I don't know, the handgun, the same, I can deploy my fire weapon. But in many situations, it's possible that, for example, you are staying on the telephone. Yeah. So what you can do is taking, this is a box that I use like simulate a telephone in such a way that I can drop it. So in a real situation, if now I am texting or making something and I was not training my brain and prepare my brain to these kind of situations, if something is happening now, suddenly somebody is attacking fast, somebody is shooting, I don't know what kind of scenario, the body has the tendency, the response to clinch, to contract, and the body will catch this telephone much better and contract, and it will not let it down immediately, yeah? Because this is the idea when you freeze, when it's happening this, when you are not knowing what it's happening, and the brain must identify the situation. So by making this and then process the information that somebody is beginning to stab other people, or I don't know what is happening, then the brain processes the information, understand that this is an obstacle in deploying my knife, let it then the telephone or what I have in my hand, and then deploy the knife. It's long time. This can cost me my life. So it's very important to understand that the body will react like this. So what we can do, we can train ourselves to let objects from our hand. It can be a bottle that I have in the strong hand, that I use all the time, my handgun, or I don't know, it can be a bag, it can be the telephone. So one exercise is taking something that is similar, yeah, the form with the telephone, trying to be with it in the hand, putting a timer from, like it's this from the gun teeth, or somebody that can give, if you have a partner that can give, a training partner that can give a command, yeah, it's shouting or it's saying contact, or I don't know what, let's say I'm here with the target and suddenly it's happening something, and I'm letting the object down from my hand, dropping it and making my technique. You can be in different kind of positions, not only in front. I can be here, texting, and other sound, let it down, make my technique, create distance, go from there. So basically it's this, you apply the same concept what I was doing. It's the same concept in which I deploy my knife, striking and creating different distance. I can make it in the same time, going back. The same is happening now, only that I have an object. So first, I must understand that this object fall down, and then I'm doing my technique. So this is a very, very good exercise that you can implement in your training. You can make this with a bottle, you can make with a bag, with different kind of tools. But you must train your brain to respond like this. So again, I repeat, if you are not training yourself, if you are not programming your brain to respond like this, he will have the tendency, and you command the body, and your reaction, it will be this. If now something is happening, and if you are not training, you are contracting, clenching your fist, and this is representing a blockage between you and your weapon. But by training, I'm here, I'm identifying something. Okay, the scenario can be different. I only give you the principle so you can apply it. It's not like it will be like this, you know. So I'm here, I identify, I let the object, deploy the weapon, strike, and create distance. Okay, when you are doing this technique, again, I remind you must not exist a weak and strong hand. This is the reason why I choose the appendix position. I can deploy it also with the right hand, also with the left hand. I can deploy it with both hands or with one hand, with the other, doesn't matter. Yeah, this is the reason why appendix position, in my opinion, is the best. So if I'm here and I identify something, I can do the technique and strike also with this hand, because of course it's more close than this hand. So I can make also this technique. Yeah. And of course that you can make a combination between the two exercises that I was showing you. So basically, you can stay on your telephone when it's hearing a loud sound. Try also, for example, you have it in your hands, close your eyes, breathe deeply. Try to make this, don't hurry yourself, visualizing yourself, I don't know, in another scenario. Breathe deeply, relax your body. And suddenly when your partner or the signal is giving, then you will switch to this movement and you make the technique. This, it will be the kind of exercises that will help you more than I don't know how many drills. I don't know what combinations, what drills. This is combining this switch from deep relaxation to a fighting mode, and also try to have the response with the drill that you were learning and programming your brain to react. Then this is what you need to implement in your training. If I am here on the telephone like another drill, I can choose to not let it down and throw with it, yeah, even if I have more distance, for example here. Of course, but in my opinion, if already it's an imminent attack, and for example he has, I don't know, a blade and is coming towards you, making this to his face, what it can happen. Not in all the situations he will stop to make this. It can only protect himself and continuing making to the hand and continuing only flinch a little bit and continuing his moving, and he will be more closer to you and you didn't deploy already your knife. So if I'm here, the best thing is that I'm going to my knife. So if I'm here and I identify the danger, I'm taking this because it's much faster than hitting this and then taking my blade out. Even if I'm hitting here, I'm hitting because my target, it's a fixed target. In reality, it has unpredictable movement, so what it was happening here doesn't mean that it will happen also in reality, and I'm not risking this. So I'm going on the concept that I'm standing here, I'm identifying, letting strike, creating distance. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed the content. If you have other ideas about other topics that you want me to make videos about it, let it in the section below. And until next time, don't forget to train and to try to implement the new things that I share with you in your practice.